Hello everybody, and we are live here at Daytona Beach, Florida, here at Daytona National Speedway, our first of two preseason Thunders for Season 8 of the Universal Orlando Cup Series. It has been quite an off-season nonetheless, and once again, finally, we are here for Season 8, the start of it at least. Preseason Thunder, hard enough to believe we have finally made it. And we get to see 23 cars that are out here on the track that will be showing off some speed and taking a look at some stuff going along the way. And I am not alone. I am joined by RJ Bishop and Johnny Gardner. How you guys doing?
Hello.
Yeet.
So let's get on down to the first car that was out there on the track that kind of went on out. And that would be Connor Meyer. Connor Meyer sporting a Mobile 1 look that's part of his preseason Thunder. All the Meyer Racing Toyota cars, they all have a silver look, but they have the colors kind of matching their sponsors there. So for Connor Meyer, you could see the dark blue and dark red colors right there. Meyer definitely got a big factor coming into this season. He won his first career NRSL races that happened last season alone. Both Xfinity and Cup, he got it done. Now, because of the new rule that's now taken place here, each and every driver that you are seeing here in either the Cup Series or Xfinity Series for this season are only going to compete in that series. So I do want to ask primarily to Johnny, because I know this happened to him quite a lot. This was definitely a big challenge for you and your fellow competitors there too, wasn't it?
It was, but we finally got the puzzle pieces correct and put them into place correctly.
Now we'll see what will happen throughout this season. And ironic enough, as we're talking also with the Xfinity champion too. It's kind of ironic there. But RJ, you got it done. How do you feel if you have the opportunity to go for the Cup championship?
Well, probably pretty good since we got pretty good luck last season, so we'll see what we will do.
So we'll see what will happen along the way. Let's go down through the order here. Kev Shear, why not? We'll talk about him first because he was kind of been out there for a bit there in the 00. He returns to the 00, but a part of a new merger that's going along with Evans Gardner Motorsports. Now, before last season was a part of Shear Trigger Incorporated, but him along with Zachary Fitzwater joined the team, making a dual type of thing. So Fitzwater Australia Racing and Shear Trigger Incorporated all joining Gardner Racing to form Evans Gardner Motorsports. They're a big group that's out there. Now, however, there are 3 entries for the team that is being displayed. You are seeing one of them right here, Kev Shear. Now, I got to ask this to Johnny. Was this the right move, not only just for you, but for Kev Shear?
I honestly think it was the right move because before the season ended, I had the time to talk with Rob and, well, the co-owner of the team and everything. We both were talking. We were like, we don't want to see Kevin Fitzy be single car teams. I'm like, why don't we merge their teams together to make the super team? And he's like, yeah, that would be a great idea. Hopefully the performance of Kevin Fitzy are there to keep the super team alive.
Now, if you notice too, both Kev Shear and Johnny Gardner, which we'll talk a little more in a bit, they actually have regular cars that's being here for Preseason Thunder. For Kev Shear, he's got Madison Group. Couldn't read the text from the angle there because it's so small there, but Kev Shear, though, driving that car to represent for this Preseason Thunder. So we'll see how Kev can do. He didn't have a good return in his Cup Series there for last season, but one thing to say, though, Kev could actually do really good this season. He's on a really good team, especially with the plate program they got coming up soon. Devin Becker makes his return to the Cup Series after spending last season in Xfinity. He'll be on board with the 36 this season, driving aboard Ream for Preseason Thunder, and I believe he will be running Ream for the season. Maybe another scheme in the way too as well. But Becker having a long Toyota with him as well in the 36. We'll see what he'll do. Didn't really have a good season last season in Xfinity, and his the last season he was in for Cup kind of was mediocre. He had a chance to advance into the chase to make his first ever Cup title run, but unfortunately he had the infamous incident with Seth Cole. Going to be interesting to see those two once they come down to the plate tracks, especially Talladega this season. Trent Dunham. If there's anything I got to say with him in Daytona, it is a curse. However, Trent Dunham once again proving the point that he is definitely one of the best drivers in the series. Ironic enough, at the time of this recording, it is his birthday, so happy belated birthday to Mr. Dunham there. But anyways, aboard with Sega and Vodafone on Chevrolet for SKM, one of the big teams that's out there, and primarily one of the more well-known teams out there. Seg Keith Motorsports originally, the keyword originally, was in fact rumored to go to Mercedes this season. But then last-minute change of plans came along. They ended up going with Chevy, and a whole look came around. Of course, Dunham being one of the co-owners of the team, definitely had a big say-so in what was going on. Dunham said he's very excited though with this season coming up. 2 new drivers along, as well as some different number looks that are going to be around. We shall see what'll happen once they take that green flag when the Daytona 500 pole day comes around, but primarily the Daytona 500. Here's a couple of cars out here. Ironic enough, former teammates right there. John Art in the 05 and Kyle Keith in the 42. We'll start with John Art right here. We mentioned about those silver cars that Meyer Racing Toyota has. Well, John Art in the 05. You see it right there. Not a Chevy this season, a Toyota. Zaxby's does stay with the team, however. So it is very weird to see the 05 not in a Chevrolet, but rather in a Toyota for Meyer's team there. Now, I want to ask this to RJ. Now, I know you've raced with John Art before, numerous amount of times, not just in the NRSL, but in other various leagues. What is there to say about John Art?
Well, he's pretty damn good in every other league that I ever been in, so pretty damn good.
John Art, though, still looking for that golden moment of his time to try to see if he can go out there to get that not only elusive win that he's been long awaiting for in the Cup Series, but also to battle for a championship because he has been long overdue. Hopefully he gets that job done. We shall see. And Kyle Keith, well, I don't know where to begin from last season. Probably had the worst start to ever have in his NRSL career. And after race 19 at Homestead, Dylan Young took over the 42, won at Thornton. 9 races later, after Young had raced during that time, he came in for Zenjoltis and unfortunately wrecked out. It has literally been the story of Kyle Keith's season in a nutshell. He's been involved in so many wrecks. He is wanting to forget about that season. He said last season, according to him, quote, was pathetic and inexcusable, and it was downright embarrassing. Hopefully, some good things are to happen for this season, because normally, as they say, when you have one bad season in the NRSL, the following season, you have a better one. We shall see what will happen to that 42 team with Bass Pro Shops on board this season. Here's a couple of cars right here. Another SKM car, Kate Anderson in the 3, and this one here is the 95 of Tim Fiegel. So let's talk about Anderson in the 3 real quick. This has definitely got to be the one driver in the hot seat this season, especially the fact that how she had a decent run, but the fact when the playoffs came around, despite not being in it, she fell apart badly. Now, Kate, with what's happened with her, and I believe this is her 3rd season with the team in the Cup Series, this definitely will prove one thing with the 3 team. They are in a must-make-the-chase situation, and they got to win some races. Anderson, since being in this series, has not yet won. Ever since her comeback to the NRSL, has not yet won a race. She has not been her Season 4 Xfinity champion self ever since coming back. But we'll see about Anderson, though. She definitely, so far, kind of not really showing the speed despite being with only Fiegel here, but times could change in a matter of moments. Speaking of Fiegel, making his Cup debut this season, going to Archangel Racing, what was the 18 now being rebranded to the 95. He's going to have Best Pro Shops on board, as well as Auto Trader, and a few other sponsors along the way. Fiegel, a diehard Martin Truex Jr. fan, so no surprise he's in the 95. I got to speak with Fiegel before coming into the car. He said he was very excited for the opportunity to be on board for not only a brand new season for the NRSL, but the fact that Fiegel's going to be making his Cup debut, literally skipping Xfinity. He's trying to pull what Alex Drayton did just last season. Wishing the best for Tim Fiegel there. Hopefully he'll get the job done. There's a gaggle of cars right here. And speaking of Archangel, that is the co-captain for the team, Ember Ross, in car number 77. Now, Ember Ross, this is the only veteran to come back for the team. And the funny thing about Archangel Racing, they basically went for a whole rebrand, a brand new Xfinity team, and just about an entire new Cup team. Ross is the only driver that stayed all together. Not just in Xfinity and Cup, but just flat out altogether part of that team. It's like a whole new look for that entire team. But we shall see what'll happen with Ember Ross. She had a not bad season, but towards the end, she definitely fell apart. Ross trying to make the chase, though, taking over Angel Navarro's opportunity for that second full-time season for that 77 team. Courtney Keith in the 40. Holy cow, did she have such a stellar season in Xfinity last season. Got the call up to Cup, and boy, is she having a good, happy moment right there. She'll be running McDonald's for this season. And when I got to speak to Courtney right there, she said that run during that chase run and in the battle for the championship, she had some good runs, but unfortunately also had some bad runs to where she ended up getting mathematically eliminated. It did disappoint her a little bit, but one thing for certain, though, Courtney Key, she is ready for her Cup debut this upcoming season. She said if she wins the Daytona 500, that would mean a lot to her. Quentin Moore in the 89. Well, no surprise, Quentin Moore is a diehard fan of Morgan Shepherd, the 89, and Racing with Jesus. And no surprise, when he was in his rookie season, that was his car. Last season, he was a part of the 34 with the Ford for Gardner Racing. Well, back to Chevrolet we go, and back to the 89 he goes. Kind of no surprise, and very familiar looking sponsor, of course, but this time he's got the blue that's running for the Preseason Thunder, and that will be used for duration of this season. Of course, that will be the main sponsorship that will be on board pretty much the entire portion of this season, just basically changing the colors from blue to red to purple. And of course, Johnny can say right now, what is the last and special scheme that he's got planned this season?
We have two, actually. We got a green one for the 2005 theme. And also, in the works, we got a special one rolling out, which is in honor of Morgan's 50th year in NASCAR, which happens to be the 2017 to early 2018 black and gold scheme.
You heard it from him, folks. That'll be an interesting line of colors right there. I guess you can call him the Rainbow Warrior.
Actually, wait, no, wrong. Actually, we got to go through. We're actually going through the year Morgan Shepherd through the years, basically.
I know, that was the joke. Anyways, as we're going to put our ticker up right now, it's just to show you the times. Anderson being the slowest and the fastest being Kev Shear, which that is actually a huge surprise in my honest opinion.
Kev, you're a triggered bitch. Go home. You're drunk.
Anyways, James Qualls in the 70s. This is actually the first time he's ever been a part of Preseason Thunder this season. Now, you're probably wondering, what happened to James Qualls? Why isn't he an entire white car with no sponsors? Well, technically, he does have sponsors. That side panel you're going to see. You're going to see it coming off of TV2, coming down turn 1 right here. Primarily coming off of TV2 rather, coming off of turn 1 and 2. You notice on the side of the car, in the corner panel, he's got sponsorships, but not on the hood of the car. Well, James Qualls basically said he wanted to give the sponsorships to his teammate, Joshua Osborne, who is not a part of Preseason Thunder, but basically getting himself ready. However, despite Qualls' best season he's ever had, actually his best season of his entire NRSL career, winning at Daytona under the lights, ironic enough that we're here again, the fact that he broke a huge winless streak, not only that, made the chase. And then, unfortunately, towards the end, he kind of fell apart. But Qualls said that, you know what? Something's got to give. And it was kind of funny. This is actually the third season in a row, or actually 3 of the last 4 seasons, the 70 team has made the chase. So, Johnny, you are actually really good friends with him and a good competitor with him. Does this actually surprise you in a way?
It does, because I was talking with James about the no sponsors for the 70. I'm like, why are you going no sponsors? It's like, I'm not relevant and offline. And I'm like, BS, because you're doing so well. You shouldn't be like getting rid of the sponsorship, even though I tried explaining to him and tried reasoning with him. I can't seem to, make a point where it's valid.
Things happen for a reason. We still got about 21 minutes into the session, but you see Qualls getting some service done in the 70. Let's see if we can go back out in the course and see if we can get to someone we have not talked about yet. Basically seeing all the cars that we are getting to. Here we go. How about a Bishop family racing car? Diego Yepes. This is kind of crazy to see the 59 and Miller Lite together. However, it's a Mercedes, and it's not Zachary Fitzwater. It is, in fact, Diego Yepes, who has been making his Cup debut this season. Now, let's give a little backstory about Diego Yepes. The last time he ran an NRSL series was all the way back in Season 7. He drove the number 1 Main Financial Chevrolet. He did manage to pick up one win during that time, but unfortunately did not have a good season. This was probably one of the more bolder moves that's ever been made in the Cup season. And this is the question I want to ask RJ Bishop. Was this the right move to take Diego Yepes on board for your Cup team?
Well, probably because last season we had a somewhat mediocre season, but we still got a win. But the 88 team got rebranded last season to the 59, so we'll see what they can do for this season.
Diego Yepes, of course, is from the... I want to say he's from the California region. I could be wrong, and I'm just going to quickly use my cheat sheet and double check. But I am certain he is from the California region. And actually, it does not say on there. But I'm pretty sure he is. So I'm not going to exactly quote that exactly, but I'm pretty sure he is. Yepes right now not showing his true speed yet, but he is with Kyle Keith and another driver up ahead, which I may as well talk about right now. Jeff James, the last of the 3 Archangel Racing cars. Now, Jeff James has had even a more crazy story. He is one of 4 drivers, actually, take that back, 5 drivers, I believe, that is making a return to the NRSL. This is one of the big ones right here, and it definitely caught a lot of people's eyes. Not a whole lot, but a few that have been a part of the NRSL for quite some time. Jeff James has been a part of the Xfinity Series for 3 seasons, and it was from season 3 to season 5. He drove the number 54 car in 2 of those seasons, and the third one is not hitting me exactly where he ran it. I'm pretty sure it was the 18. I could be mistaken. But Jeff James, of course, driving the number 54 at that time. He did rack up a couple wins during the time, and of course, didn't win a championship. But Jeff James finally making his return to the NRSL, and what way to do it, not just in the Cup Series, not just in the Toyota, which he's very familiar with, but of course driving for Archangel Racing. Definitely going to be interesting to see what James could do. He takes over Eric Burns' old ride in that number 20 car. And from what we are aware of on the sponsorships, he's got IK9 with him, Snapple, and maybe one other sponsor along the way too. Brett Pritchard. Now, this is another interesting story. Now, remember how John Art is now a part of Meyer Racing Toyota, and he's good friends with Conor Meyer. Brett Pritchard, the same status with him. This is the weirdest story that comes around out of all this. Pritchard, when he first joined the Cup Series, this was back in season 6, I want to say. It was season 6 or season 5, but I want to say it was season 5. Pritchard drove the 3 car, or, I'm sorry, he drove the... I think it was the 3 car. No, he drove the 49. That's what he drove. He drove the 49. That was a part of Meyer Racing Toyota. After 3 races, heading into race number 4, Cave Motorsports put him onto the team as the next driver for the team. Then moves over to the 3, then moves over to the 8 car, and now this season he is back to where he all started along, but a part of the 54. He's got Bang on board for this season. Bang Energy to be exact. Not the Bang that you're thinking of there, folks. Sorry, little kids, that's out there.
Did somebody say Bang?
He also has Gum Out on board for sponsorship. But these 2 sponsors are brand new. I know I've never heard of Gum Out before, but can't wait to see what they look like once they come out on the track. Brett Pritchard, by the way, is looking for a big resurgence in the Cup Series. It was a big move to actually keep him in the Cup Series because he was one of, I believe, 10 drivers that was in the question mark of staying in Cup or being downgraded to Xfinity, along with Joshua Sicoli and a few other drivers. So Pritchard, we shall see what happens to that 54 team. Wish him the best of luck. Also, Bang Energy is going to be well overused in the series. We mentioned about Devin Becker.
What do you say, Bang?
Right? Johnny Gardner, ironic enough, right here, along with this pack. Right now, 20th fastest in that teal G-Max Chevrolet. Now, Gardner Racing, now Evans Gardner Motorsports. Let's just take some historical lessons here. When Gardner Racing first was formed, this is the craziest part of them all. He was a part of the 7 2 seasons ago. He drove a Chevrolet. The team was entirely Chevys. Last season, they were all Fords. He was a part of the 12. Just missed out on making the chase despite a terrific year and was the runner-up for the Daytona 500. This season, he drives the 5 car, which hasn't been used in the last 2 seasons, and that was last used by Anthony Ritchie. Want to know where Anthony Ritchie finished in the season? He finished very poorly in the bottom 3 of the standings. So Gardner's got a lot to work out. He's got GMAC aboard this season. He's got Spectrum. He also has GoDaddy, Pepsi,
National Guard.
National Guard, and Ditech, which would be the 2005 themed car. Now, Johnny,
Well,
you have a... go ahead. I
Also,
didn't mean to.
that's the GMAC Ditech, which is the 05's theme, and I also have the Stand Up to Cancer scheme, too.
Which I almost forgot to mention. Thank you. So I do want to ask this question to Johnny. I know you keep switching manufacturers around like water and all. No offense. But the main question I do want to ask you is this. Quentin Moore made the chase last season. He was technically the worst driver of the 3. Do you think your time is finally here that not only you're going to make the chase, but you're going to battle for a championship when we head to Zenjoltis?
I honestly hope so, because, not going to lie, this would be a really good culmination, to be honest with you, for the season, especially with why my schemes have the teal to them. I don't want to go into personal details, but if you look very carefully above the number on both the driver and passenger side, you'll probably get the understanding of why.
Which you can see right there is a very nice look, by the way. A nice touch that goes around. Definitely a different look indeed. Johnny Gardner, his last win in the Cup Series, I believe, was 2 seasons ago at Dubai, I think it was.
Yes. But, yeah, you can barely see it when you went by the 78.
So, I think you'll probably see it more once we get a little closer look. But Johnny Gardner, not only trying to break a winless streak, he is also trying to make the chase.
And try to win a championship for, circumstances that I do not want to mention.
Yep. But a big look indeed for a brand new, big-time powerhouse team aboard the NRSL. Phil Parker in the 15. Right now, 10th fastest aboard is that Nationwide Toyota. That's going to probably be one of his primary sponsors for this season. Parker aboard his 2nd season with Meyer Racing in the Cup Series. Last season, he kind of had an up and down season. He got his first career win at Armory Digital. Give me a second here, I had a little bit of a belch in my throat right there. But regardless, though, Parker really did not have a good season. Got involved in a lot of wrecks. Things didn't really go out his way. So Parker's looking for redemption, but most importantly, try to get a couple wins along the bag, too. So we shall see what it'll be for Mr. Parker there. One thing to point out about Phil, though, is that obviously his SS has been really, really good, but his major weakness has definitely been the road courses. It's kind of weird to even say that, because Parker in the past, he's shown in various leagues he's good at road courses, but for some reason in the NRSL, they are his weakness.
I hate to interrupt you here. Am I seeing that correctly for the top of the board? Is that the 70 up there?
That's James Qualls actually leading Preseason Thunder. You are not absolutely joking. Perhaps maybe the sponsor list is helping out the 70. Speaking of some sponsors, Jesse Turner definitely brought his sponsorship aboard this season. Aflac and the 78 be making its debut. Now, this was the big move right there, and I do not blame Bishop Family Racing for making this move at all. Jesse Turner making an immediate jump to Cup. Now, unfortunately, did not get a win in Xfinity, but one thing for certain, he definitely has the fandom. And this question I do have to ask to RJ. Did the Ducks sign the papers on that sponsorship, or did Jesse come in with a big smile and sign it himself?
It was kind of bold, technically, so...
Oh, man. Jesse, unfortunately, kind of was mid-tier toward the standings there, falling towards the top 30 in points. But, of course, when you come into a Cup team here with a lot of high expectations, you definitely want to deliver for sure. So we shall see what will happen to Jesse Turner. And by the way, I forgot to mention this as a fun fact. He's actually from the New York area, so I failed to mention that.
Not the only New Yorker in
the booth,
deal.
Yeah. See if we can find anybody else here. Oh, man, we got a pack right here. Holy cow. And that explains why Qualls got the fastest lap. Holy moly. Here's Sky Commons in the 17. Now, if you notice, we had a couple of Bass Pro Shops cars. This is one of the other ones right here. That is Sky Commons. Now, Commons last season drove a Dodge. And I just want to point this out with the Dodge manufacturers. There's only going to be one run this season. That's Zach Rogers. Which is a shame because, it was such a popular move, but now it's like Dodge is being irrelevant. It's all basically Chevy, Ford, and Toyota. Where have I seen that before? Sky Commons, though,
Don't forget Mercedes.
Oh, yeah, of course, that too. But I mean, from last season, too. But Comments, moves to Chevrolet. I want to ask this to both you guys here alone. Was this a good move by Sky Comments to get the funding from SKM? Or was that a little bit of a risk there for that 17 team?
It could work out in the long run in a way. Better equipment and whatnot.
Yeah, I will agree, though. It's an interesting idea, to say the least, but I can see it happening. But he's also the fact leaving Dodge, too. That's also going to be sad, for only Zach Rogers being the only
Only manufacturer.
Dodge.
Yeah. Well, I want to point this out while we're here and before if it changes. Common's best lap is a 44.888. There's something you don't see a lot of. It's a unique time right there. But Sky Comets definitely won the rebound from last season. And get this about last season, he actually made the chase with what happened in that 17 team. RJ Bishop. Well, we've been long waiting to say that name. The Xfinity champion from this season. Well, for season 9, I should say. Or not season 9, season 8. What am I saying? I'm getting my numbers mixed up here.
Go home,
You're drunk. You're drunk.
Ironic enough, he's in a 98. That helps out perfectly. But if you notice with these Bishop family racing cars, Mercedes is on board. They make their grand debut among the series. Wow, that pack literally just died because they all came down pit road. But RJ Bishop here in the 98. You know what's funny about last season when we were at Daytona? Bishop family racing dominated the entire speed weeks. The only race they did not win was the Daytona 500. They dominated the speed weeks. They dominated the Bud Shootout. Unfortunately, didn't win that one there. They won the duels. They won the Xfinity race. But when it came to the 500, just couldn't get the job done. RJ Bishop, though, trying to be one of the very few people that's in this entire league to win both the Xfinity Championship and the Cup Championship. No one's ever done it. There's only been ever a 2-time champion, and that was in the Cup Series. That was Chris Washer. RJ Bishop, though, has a really good opportunity to try to make that happen, as now Trent Dunn's going to head down pit road. Wow, that whole pack literally died within the last couple laps there. But Bishop Family Racing's leader there, RJ Bishop, definitely wanted to represent and try to bring home a Cup title. Let's see if
I'm still triggered from last season at Daytona on the first lap.
Let's see if we can get some cars that we have not talked about yet that are not on
there
pit
was
road.
one.
Well, there was on pit road, and well, this is something I've been long waiting to talk about. Noah Hart. Well, that's one of the other drivers that's making a grand return to the NRSL, and I gotta say, it's been a long time waiting to say that name in this series, but I'm so glad to say that name again. Noah Hart, the last time he ran this series, primarily the Cup Series, was all the way back in Season 2. Season 2. Want to know how long ago that was? That was all the way back in 2012, 2013 range. We are in 2019 right now, heading into the 2020 season. It's been that long. Noah Hart, when that time happened, he drove the number 47 Spyro Crash Bandicoot Toyota for JTG Daughtry. And the season before that, in Season 1, he drove the 22. What was so memorable about him, he helped Anthony Emery, who drove the 47, before he blew up on the last lap to lead to a championship. It was kind of a fitting way, ironic, and the fact that Noah did that, it definitely gained him some reputation as a big diehard fan with that 47 and himself. He's driving the 18 for this season. Dairy Queen will be the main sponsor on board, and of course, he's going to have a cool throwback, not just for Atlanta, but of course, when we head to Talladega. Fun fact, he's also from the Atlanta area, but primarily south of Georgia. But
let's hope Noah doesn't get Dairy Queen.
Fan food there, of course. So, well, best of luck to Noah Hart. Hopefully, he has a really good season. This is one of the newer teams that's coming on out there with the funding of SKM. Dylan Thoreau, he'll be making his Cup debut in this season. And the last time he ran in the NRSL was a couple seasons ago. I think they're running up the same area for where Jeff James was ran in Xfinity. He drove the 62 Thoreau, and now will be making his Cup debut on the 4 car. I believe the last time we had the 4 in the Cup Series, it has not hit me. Clint Spillman drove that car, and ironically enough won the Daytona 500 in the number 4 car. So now SKM's funding for Spirit of Daytona, kind of a ironic name that is there, because if you notice, to visit Florida.com. Dylan Thoreau will be on board this season. Can't wait to see what he'll do. He's definitely won some races in Xfinity in the past, We'll see if he can get the job done. We are also nearing 5 minutes into the session. Qualls still out in front, and no one has been ever coming any close to capturing that time to beat him out. Benjamin Miles in the 2 car. You know, this is really weird to say because I'm used to seeing Miles in the Hertz, but I'm not used to seeing the 2 in a Chevrolet. Benjamin Miles saying, hold my beer, watch this here. Benjamin Miles, the runner-up to the Xfinity Championship. Kind of ironic. You have the champion from Xfinity and the runner-up to Xfinity in the same series. Now, he did drive in the Cup Series last season in the 43. Kind of didn't really have a good run. Just kind of just showing off on his own for Hertz Racing. But now, joining Sedkeith Motorsports for this season, he is definitely going to be showing some big stride. Hopefully, he'll have his Xfinity run from last season into this season. Now, I got to ask this to RJ. You had a really good battle within the championship title. And what do you think is Miles' strength here?
Well, it could be a lot of things. Mile and a half, super speedways, and other tracks. But he is very competitive on the track. I'll say that.
We heard it from the champion, a battle of 2 really, really good drivers right there. Definitely some competitive spirit by both. You're seeing that this pack is now starting as a 5-car pack, so this should be interesting to see what it'll be. Nonetheless, we'll see if they can top Qualls' lap right there. Jesse Turner's jumped to 2nd in the 78. So as we're looking through here, there's Quentin Moore. Quentin Moore, we mentioned with that 89, I forgot to mention too, as you know, we mentioned with Gardner, he was the only driver to make the chase of that 3-car team. And wow, Turner actually got 2nd from a 4-car pack. What was now a 4-car pack, now a 3-car pack. Let's just see the lap here. As that last lap was the fastest lap, and a 45.563, nowhere close. I believe we may have covered everybody here. I'm not too sure because I don't see anyone we haven't covered yet. Just kind of double checking here. And that is indeed the case. So we're going to stick with that main pack right over here because this could really change a lot right here as we have 3 minutes left. Now, some things to note. If you notice here, the past numerous amount of seasons, I want to say since season 2, we have ran Daytona 2011. For the first time ever, we're actually changing Daytona tracks. This is revamped 2009. And I can't wait to see how this is going to be, because when we did testing for the races for both Xfinity and Cup, holy cow, did they got an unbelievable package that's showing around. If you noticed at certain points in the testing session, when we were highlighting some drivers, there were some passes made coming off the turns on the high line. So I want to ask this to both RJ and Johnny. How much will this change the Daytona 500 when we take that green flag this season?
Well, honestly, it's going to change it a lot because, as you said, this is the 2009 track. There is those bumps in the turns, and yeah, at least it's not the 2010 version where those, if that's the case, because if it was the 2010 track, the bumps would have been a heck of a lot worse.
Instead of 2011 being a smooth, flat-out track.
Yepper.
Again, right now, James Qualls still sitting at the top of the leaderboard here. Turner and RJ Bishop 2nd and 3rd for Bishop Family Racing. Trent Dunham for SKM is number 4th. Sky Commons for Sin City Motorsports with the funding of SKM in number 5. Brett Pritchard for Meyer Racing in number 6. Kev Shear, the best out of the EGM group, in 7th. He was having a good, strong run early today, and now kind of sitting in that top 10 spot. Ember Ross in the 8th, Noah Hart in the 9th, and Phil Parker completing that top 10. We're kind of just checking with this group right here because they're really showing some speed, but someone may get lucky here, and I'm actually surprised. Oh, Yepa has kind of jumped up the board a little bit there. Bishop right now, the top of that group right there. Won't be surprised that Miles or Yepes are going to get a faster lap as long as none of these drivers come down pit road. But you are looking at James Qualls right now, the fastest driver of Preseason Thunder Session 1. And for a minute, I thought we had a bigger pack right there ahead, but we do not. Kind of looking through here as we're nearing 30 seconds to go. This is going to really be an interesting one right here. Let's just see if it changes at the line. Nope, not a whole lot at all. 20 seconds. So what's going to happen is before that clock reaches 0, whoever crossed the line, they get that last lap right there, and it's their last chance to get their laps in. So I think once these drivers, let's see, I think these guys are going to be the last ones to complete their laps. So once they cross the line right here,
Just made it.
so now they're going to get the time expired, and then they're going to get the rest of the 45 seconds to finish up their lap. But the main question is going to be that pack behind Qualls and Anderson. That's going to really be the factor. They're 3 wide behind. I think that's going to solidify who's going to be the top of the board, but we may as well double check. And no change at the front of the field. It looks like that will stay the same. Wow, Pritchard really didn't gain some ground, and RJ Bishop a 45.132 that last lap, so not enough right there. So it's safe to say James Qualls, which I never thought I'd be able to say, is going to lead them down in the first preseason Thunder session. So now that is official, as you can see right there. So now they're just making sure they're just riding on through, and then eventually we'll teleport on down the pit road, or at least go down pit road. But Qualls probably just enjoying that run there, and you can tell that 70 car, whatever they did to prepare for this session, they did everything right so far. So we're about ready to pause it right here. Then you're going to see our results right here. So looking at the fastest, it was James Qualls in the 70. John Art in the 05 was the slowest. I don't think he really spent a lot of time hanging around with the pack. So 45.623 was his best lap, and that is not really a good one at all there. And then 0.3 faster was Dylan Thoreau in 22nd. But we mentioned that top 10. Let's look at the rest of the field there. Quentin Moore, 11th fastest there in the 89. Kate Anderson, 12th fastest. Tim Fiegel, 13th. Jeff James, 14th. Benjamin Miles, 15th. Courtney Keith and Kyle Keith, they are 16th and 17th. Kyle being 16th, Courtney being 17th. Johnny Gardner, 18th. Diego Yepes, 19th. And Devin Becker completing the top 20. 21st being Connor Meyer. And then we mentioned Dylan Thoreau and John Art in 22nd and 23rd. Definitely the big surprise of them all had to have been James Qualls. That completely unsponsored single white car 70 is ahead of Jesse Turner and RJ Bishop. That's kind of amazing, the fact that, you know, the past couple of seasons he's had Ford Travel Motor Coach and Castrol GTX on board, and even Hunt Brothers Pizza for a season. And here he is with no sponsors. He's leading down first preseason Thunder session. That is a huge, huge momentum. And don't forget, he knows how to win Daytona. He's done it before. And I want to ask this because you're also good friends with Qualls. A Daytona 500 would mean a lot to him.
It would. Not because now looking at it with the fact that he ended up being first fastest in opening testing, I'm like, because I would thought I was seeing things, but I wasn't.
Let's actually look at that fast lap with the 70 and see what he did, because we noticed he was in such a big pack there, and, you know, that's just amazing. See what lap it was. See, Kev Shear was leading right here, and Qualls was actually getting momentum to get into that pack. You're going to see what, I don't know if Qualls, yeah, Qualls got it right here. This was that lap, so let's go back.
Yep, right there. Yeah, he was going, wow, much faster.
And Pritchard, if you look carefully, Pritchard a little bit before that actually beat out Kev Shearer. So let's go to where we're going to be inside the cockpit with the 70. And look, Qualls was actually trying to catch up to the pack when this happened. So you're going to go in.
Cam.
So let's go into the visor cam and check out Qualls' inside view and take a look and listen with that car, how fast it was going, how he managed to catch up in that pack. So you're seeing Qualls, the lap starts here. Now you notice he's trying to catch up to Trent Dunham and RJ Bishop, ironic enough, who would end up being third and fourth there alone. Now you can see with Qualls, he's working on that inside line, trying to catch up to the one. Now he realizes the next car he's going to use in that draft is the 98 of Bishop in that Mercedes. And see, Johnny, he's actually using that draft really, really good right here.
Yeah.
Now right there, Brett Pritchard, he beats out Kev Shearer by 3-1 down to the second. He feels like he's confident in the bag. He knows that's a good one right there. But look at Qualls kept himself in the throttle with RJ going right in front of him too, ironic enough.
Hold my beer. Watch this, y'all.
And then here's the lap time right there. Boom! Shatters Brett Pritchard's lap. And just out of nowhere, a 44.568. And I guarantee you the moment he heard that in the radio, I guarantee you the next bit of words he said in his mouth is, what?
Yeah, I'm sure of it. But if I can find this here, if I can, in my bookmarks, if I can find it here, I can translate that if you want me to for speed, though, if I can find it here.
Possibly. But anyways, just one last look at showing the results from testing session number 1 of Preseason Thunder. Want to thank RJ Bishop and Johnny Gardner as he's going to look for the file. But, of course, thank you guys for joining me. That is great to have you guys on board. And not only that, but wish you guys the best of luck in your season, both of you guys.
Sounds good to me. Let's see if I can find
Yeet.
it.
RJ
Hold on.
yeets his way into an Xfinity title, trying to
And
yeet his way
also-
to the Cup Championship there.
We all know it. Good night, America.
I believe, Johnny, did you find it?
I'm still looking.
So while Johnny is looking, I'll go through the normal monologue I normally do. But thank you guys for watching. If you like to, be sure to give it a like. Comment your thoughts, subscribe, be part of the NRSL by hitting that subscribe button down below.
Hit it.
Once again, folks, we are nearing the start of Season 8 pretty soon. Probably in January, we are looking at the start of the season with Daytona Speed Weeks of Daytona 500 Final Practice, the Budweiser Shootout, the Gatorade Duels, and of course, opening weekend that will take place, which will be the NRSL ARCA Series, which will be making its debut that Kyle Keith will be running, the Xfinity Series of Daytona, which is the NSRA 300, and of course, the granddaddy of them all, the Daytona 500, presented by Kev Shear's Triggerness. Once again, thank you guys for watching, and until then, I will see you guys for the next video that'll come on out. Until then, goodbye everybody, and Johnny, do you got that
Have a
clip?
trigger day.
Johnny probably didn't have the clip. Damn it. Way to go, Johnny.
Son of a bitch.
You know
I
what?
found it, though.
You know what? I can...
You know what happens?
You know what? No. I got something that will work out. Because you know what? What Johnny did is a giant numpty move. You know what? Here, let me just take a couple more seconds of your time. And then eventually, it's going to be really great. So here we go. And I wish a certain someone was here in the Discord call because he would approve of it all. But here we go. Without further ado, as long as it doesn't play an advertisement in the beginning, which of course now technology is going to fail.
Probably will.
I don't care if I'm stalling. It's going to be worth it.
Awkward silence, but
I
yeet.
know. It's going to be interesting. Here we go, guys. It's about ready to go. Actually, let me
Are you
try.
sure about that, Chief?
Yeah, let me try one more time. Here we go. Here we go. Everybody gets a rank roll because Johnny couldn't play the clip. It is worth it. If Brian James was here, he would approve of this in a heartbeat. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys later. Until the next video. See you later.
I like it. I love it. Anywho, Qualls almost went 202 miles an hour in that lap, Dylan.
Worth every second. See you guys later.